Now, today is a revision class for last week chapter on biological processes. And this is a GCSE syllabus. In Malaysia terms, is form 3 syllabus. In GCSE terms, is year 8 or year 9 syllabus, right? So last week we learned about these 5 drawers: making food, which is photosynthesis, leaf, mineral, using energy, and no oxygen energy, right? And in fact, like I always mention, I'm not your normal tuition teacher where I do not do 90% of the talking. And in fact, most of the work is done by you. What I'm doing is a facilitator to facilitate you to follow the steps that can help you to understand the content easier and in a very systematic way. So you are sure by following these steps, you're going to get the results that you want. The result that you want for today is to be able to understand this chapter, reinforcing your knowledge that you have gained last week, right? So these are the 7 steps. Last week we have 10 steps, but these revision steps, we have 7 steps. 7 steps that we need to follow over the period of about 1.5 to 2 hours, right? And by then, you'll be able to know how to make these revisions by yourself easier, right? And we have Elise, we have Jovin, and we have Jingsam, who is the first time attending the class related to these biology processes. So let's try to follow these steps and hope that you also able to understand the content of the chapter. Let's see how far you can understand, because usually this class, the prerequisite is to be able to attend the first class, right? But let's see. Let's try. So number 1, do you remember the story? Let's start with Eric. Eric, do you remember the story? In fact, the answer is right in front of you.
Making a
Yeah,
salad with leaves and mustard and drink energy drink until no oxygen.
right. And surprisingly, this story doesn't involve Elise. Right. Elise was not in our classes, but most of our story includes Elise as one of the actors inside the story. Right. For electricity and electromagnetism, she was there. And I think there was a few more stories that's related to her. Because coincidentally, we always have this E that we need to find somebody to have the name starting with E. And Elise plays a very important role over here. Right. So for this story is making salad with leaf and mustard, and then drink energy drink, which is like the Red Bull, until no oxygen. Right. So this story will help us to remember the drawers easier and in sequence. Right. So making salad is making food because it's photosynthesis. With leaf and mustard, the second drawer is the name itself is leaf because we are learning things related to leaf, the characteristic of leaf, if you still remember, the large surface area, the wax, the vein, and also the chlorophyll, right? Then minerals, I replace it with mustard because it's starting with M, because salad comes together with mustard, doesn't come together with minerals. So that's how we are able to remember the third drawer is minerals. Using energy, so you eat the salad and also you drink energy drink. You know what's energy drink, right? Like the Red Bulls and all those type of drinks that can make you more energy, give you more energy. And if you remember, this energy drinks is talking about respiration. And you have the respiration called aerobic respirations that is using oxygen. right? Then there's also another type of respiration, no oxygen energy, right? Because respiration is to create energy using mitochondria. And the no energy is, and no oxygen, sorry, no oxygen is anaerobic, anaerobic respirations. And that's for animals. And for plants, which we call it fermentation, which you use it as the process to make wine or bread, right? So that's step number one. Isn't that easy? It took less than 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and we have done step number one. I hope by doing this step number one, you have a clear idea what are the drawers. There are 5 drawers, and what are the name of these drawers. These 5 drawers. By now, you should be able to have that ability to tell me what is the name of the drawers. Right. So if there is, if you are ready with pen and paper, you can write this very short sentence out on your paper, because this is your reference point. This is where I want your brain to be anchored on, because our brain is a very distractive brain. Human brain is like that. We need to anchor on something. So that is the anchoring point. And if you write it down right in front of you, and that will help you to anchor your brain to follow on the following steps. Right? Next is to read the keynotes. Okay, so let's bring up our keynotes. This is, if you remember last week, we read this as step number 2. Step number 2, where you have to read these keynotes. So I hope by reading these keynotes, for the one who attended last week, you have a rough idea what each drawer is about. Right, there are 5 drawers. If you see the format of these keynotes is divided into 5 points, and these 5 points are representing 5 drawers. Right, and each of the drawer will have certain key messages or key information that is related to each drawer. Right, so if you are ready, I'll give you 2 minutes to read these keynotes and start to refresh what you have learned last week. Let's start now. 2 minutes. From making food to winemaking. For Elise, Jingsam, and Jovin, maybe this class, you focus on how to do these 7 steps. One more minute. For Eric, for Xuan Xuan, by reading these keynotes, you should be having a refresher. All this information and knowledge that you learned last week should come back to you by now. Yeah, most of the information. Ten more seconds. All right. Now we have finished the second steps. Now, do you remember the story for each drawer? The each drawer story is here in the bracket. Every drawer will have a bracket, and that is the story that is related to that drawer. Right. In the photo, you drink Pepsi and you make a bubble gum. You know, a bubble gum. Using the bubble gum, you make a bubble. And then what happened is you have a purple plaster and you plaster it on your mouth. And then another story is you boil Ethan and wash Ian. Right? That is a story. In the photo, you drink Pepsi and you blow bubblegum, and they're using a purple plaster, you plaster your mouth, boil Ethan, wash Ian. Second story, a large tin leaf with blood and wax. Right, so you can imagine the leaf, the green color leaf, which is very big and thin, is having blood on it and wax. Then your stomach got a hole, and when you drink water, it flows out. All right. Nigel and Mac eats purple pho, the Vietnamese noodle, and it's purple in color, and the soup is yellowish. You eat candy, then you do aerobic, and you sweat. And then another story, you eat rice and candy, and at the same time you watch a TV, and there's a plasma TV in a prison cell. Alvin the globin breathe in oxygen, OT is oxygen, and exhale carbon dioxide. Anna does aerobic in vacuum and drink acid. On Friday, you eat bread and drink wine. Okay. I have a call in. Let me just pick up the call. Let's see. Okay, I'm sorry. Jaden was trying to log in, and maybe he went to the wrong class. Right. Now, this is the third step. The step is not done yet. This is the story. But are you able to explain the story based on the textbook content? Right. Are you able to explain the story based on the textbook content? So in the photo, you drink Pepsi. What does it mean? This photo is to help you to remember photosynthesis. And you drink Pepsi. Pepsi is something with carbohydrate, carbonate. So wait, I think Jaden is coming in. Let me just get him in. Yep. Right. So Pepsi represent carbon dioxide. It's a carbonate drinks. So carbon dioxide, carbonate drinks sounds a bit similar. And you blow a bubble gum, just like oxygen. Okay. Then purple plaster on your mouth. Purple plaster is the is the chlorophyll. It's a chloroplast. The plaster sounds like chloroplast, and the purple is the iodine solutions. Okay. In fact, I changed it to green plaster, I remember. Purple. Right, sorry. So green plaster is to represent the chlorophyll because the color is green, and the plaster is representing the chloroplast. Chloroplast is different from chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the pigment inside the chloroplast. Right. Then you boil ethane and wash iron. Because in the starch test, you are boiling the ethanol and you're washing the iodine solution. So ethanol represents ethane, iron represents iodine. Okay, I hope you still remember this. If not, I think by doing this exercise, you're having a refresher. Right, same goes to this story. A large, thin green leaf with blood and wax. So remember the structural adaptation of the leaf is having large surface and they are thin and they have chlorophyll content because it's green, and they have vein because vein usually I relate to blood, so that's why I put a blood over here. But this vein in the leaf is not the vein that in the human. Waxy layer, so they also have a wax layer. Then stomach got hole, drink water and flow out. Stomach got hole means to represent the stomata. There's a stomata. There's something called stomata in the leaf, and it's actually a guard cell to guard the gases, the carbon dioxide, the inflow and outflow of the gases. Then when you drink water, it flows out. So this is to explain the water and mineral how it is being transported by absorption, evaporations, and being transported in and out. Right? Then Nigel and Mac eats purple fowl and with yellow soup. Nigel is talking about the nitrates or the nitrogen substance. Right, Mac is magnesium. Then purple 4 is the phosphate. Purple is some deficiency symptoms. It's purplish and yellowish, poor group and yellowish. Then when you eat candy, you do aerobic and you sweat. So this is talking about the aerobic respirations. Right. And it's talking about the glucose transport. When you are eating candy is glucose, right? It's sweet. Glucose is representing something like it's produced by the digestion of carbohydrate and it transfer into glucose, and then it's absorbed into the bloodstream. Right. This is where when you eat the rice, which is the carbohydrate, and the candy, and it become glucose, and then you absorb into the bloodstream with dissolved in the plasma. Plasma is one element in the blood, and it diffuses into the cell. So we watch plasma TV in prison cell. Right. So this story will help you to remember the glucose transport. How is it being transported with the key element that is in it? Alvin, the globin. So Alvin is talking about is representing the alveoli, Al. Globin is hemoglobin, and breathe oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide, or vice versa. Breathe carbon dioxide and exhale oxygen. That is to represent the oxygen transport or the carbon dioxide removal. Right. Then you have Anna does aerobic in vacuum and drink acid. So what does it mean? It means anaerobic respirations. Anaerobic respirations is not having oxygen. So I refer it as in a vacuum. And drink acid. So the product of anaerobic respiration is lactic acid. So from glucose into acid lactic. Then on Friday, you eat bread and drink wine. So Friday means fermentations. And it's done using bread making and wine making is done using this process called fermentations. So it's from glucose changed to ethanol and carbon dioxide. Right. So this is the story in each drawer. And this drawer and these stories in each drawer will have some representation on the information that is related to the drawers, the 5 drawers. Now, if you are able to draw this by yourself quickly, or not this, sorry, this is a resultant force. Where is the drawer? Where's the story? Yep. Yep, create story. Yep, this is the story. Right, you see this, like I say, I'm not a good artist, so my drawing is very ugly. You can draw a better, definitely you can draw a better drawing than me, right? So what you can do is, if you are able to draw these drawings, let me just widen this. So there are 5 drawers, and if each drawer is having their own stories. And this is representing the story. In the photo, so in the photo, this is you drink Pepsi, and you blow a bubble. It can be bubble gum or it can be anything. The bubble is to represent the oxygen, right? Drink Pepsi. So it's talking about photosynthesis, how photosynthesis works. So they are intake of carbon dioxide and output of oxygen. Then you using green plaster and plaster your mouth. There's this plaster over here. If you see this, if you are able to see the plaster over here, and it's representing a green plaster. And that plaster is to show that the chloroplast, right? Plaster, chloroplast, and green chlorophyll, green pigments. Then boil ethans and wash ions. So you boil ethanol, boil ethane, and you wash ion. This is to explain the starch test. This will help you to be able to remember if there is question related to starch test, you know how this starch test is being done as an experiment. Drawer number 2, leaf. So this is a big leaf, big large surface with thin, it's a thin leaf, and it's having some blood and wax on the leaf. Right, this is to explain the structural adaptation. Then for the stomach got hole, your stomach got a hole, and when you drink, and then the water flowing out from the stomach. So this is to explain the stomata, the gut cells, the absorptions, transportation, transports, and also evaporation of the process in the leaf to help to transport the water and minerals from the roots to the stem to the leaf, right? The one that we learned. Then drawer number 3 is this Nigel and Mac eating this purple fowl with yellow soup, right? So when you understand this, you remember this drawing, you know that this drawer number 3, the mineral, is talking about something related to nitrogens, phosphate, magnesium, and there's deficiency that is turning the leaf or the part of the stems of the plants into purple and is having deficiency in growth, right? Using energy. So this is the respirations, the aerobic respirations, right? The aerobic respiration and also the circulatory system, which is how the glucose is being transported, how the oxygen is being transported, how the carbon dioxide is being transported, right? So this story is helping you to remember this easier. So you eat candy, you do aerobic, and you sweat. So that means you have a glucose as a candy, and this is the aerobic respiration, and you sweat. Okay, glucose plus oxygen, and you the product. This is the reactant. Glucose plus oxygen is the reactant. The product is carbon dioxide and water. Right? Then eat rice and candy, watch plasma TV in prison cell. This is to explain the glucose transportations. Right? With that keywords, rice candy is carbohydrate, because rice is carbohydrate, turn into glucose. So I use candy as a representation to represent glucose. Then it's absorbed into the bloodstream and dissolved in the plasma. Plasma is part of the blood and diffused into cell. So watching plasma TV in a prison cell. So you are eating rice and candy and watch plasma TV in a prison cell. So that will help you to remember how this glucose being transported. Then the oxygen transport. So alvin is the alveoli, and globin is the hemoglobin. And you breathe in oxygen and you exhale carbon dioxide. So oxygen transport or carbon dioxide removal, right? There is on this part, the use energy part. The no oxygen, Anna is a girl or a lady. She does aerobic over here, and then she drink acid, right? Then on Friday is representing the fermentation. She eats bread and drink wine. So wine making and bread making, right? So I hope you have some idea about these stories, and if you try to draw it, then that will be perfect, right? And what is the next step is using that story. I would like you to do these steps. Read the summary quickly, right? I'm going to show you the summary again, which is the step number 3. This is step number 1 and 2. Let's go down a bit. This is step number 3. Okay, step number 3. I'll put it on the left. Okay, so you have two documents right in front of you. On the left is the step 3 reading summary. I think you know this by now, what to do with this step number 3. And step number 2 is on your right. That's for your reference. And then now you have one more document that is in front of you, which is your drawing. Okay, so when you read this, ask yourself these questions. Which drawer is this? You only have 5 drawers. Whether it's drawer number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4, or number 5. By reading from here, you have an idea which drawer is this. Then also refer to your drawing, the drawing that is right in front of you. The 5 drawings. Which drawer is this? Okay, so once you identify which drawer, for this case is drawer number 1, obviously. Okay, making food. Then you read this in 1 minute. Then you try to link the information that you read over here with the keynotes and also your drawings. Okay, I hope it's clear. For Elise, for Jingsam, I think maybe it's new to you. So just be patient. Let's try to follow. I believe this will help you to understand brain drawer better. Once you understand the brain drawer method, you can actually study it by yourself in a very efficient way, right? So for Xuan and Eric, I believe that you are following. And for Jovin, because you already attended this class for quite many times, so I believe also you are following this one. Maybe it's a bit difficult for you to understand what is the content, like the photosynthesis, the leaf, the mineral, because you never attended last week class, but it's fine. I think you are able to follow this, right? So next is, I'll give you 1 minute to read this part, and 1 minute starts now. All right. Let's do the same exercise for this small part here. I think this is a bit too, yeah. This small part here. Just another 1 minute for you to read. And ask yourself which drawer is this and which is the part is related to this 1.2 in your keynotes and also your drawings. Right. Oh yes, Jason. Jason, I want to congratulate you. Last test, you got 28 out of 30 from your school. I think you did a very good job. Right? We'll talk about that later. Let's continue on our class. Then we'll see how to improve you further. Start now. Detecting until this table. I hope this table is not too small for you to read. Let me make it a bit bigger if it helps. If you can't read, let me know, please. Okay? Now, so what are we trying to achieve over here? By reading this first drawer, which is photosynthesis mainly, you have three main parts here. Photosynthesis, explaining about the photosynthesis process, explaining about the cellular location and key components, which is mainly the chloroplast and chlorophyll, and also the starch test. So if you realize, it is exactly the same format as our keynotes. First point is talking about the photosynthesis. Second point is talking about the chloroplast and chlorophyll. The third point is talking about the starch test, right? And even the story is helping you to remember what is inside drawer number 1. What is the content that is inside drawer number 1, right? If you follow me together, you see, in the photo, you drink Pepsi and blow bubblegum. So this is effectively helping you to remember there is photosynthesis. And this photosynthesis is related to carbon dioxide and oxygen, right? Obviously, I'm not able to write all the informations that is related to the energy, then it's related to glucose, there's something about carbohydrate, and they are the producer, etc., right? But I think you get the idea. This small short story is to help you to remember what is inside this drawer number 1 easier. And when you have that anchoring point, that is where you'll be able to extend your knowledge and refresh your knowledge on what you have learned for your exam, in case you are going for exam and you are right in the exam hall, right? That is the function of this story, right? As an anchoring point. It's all about anchoring your brain, right? If you go to the next story, plaster your mouth, green plaster on your mouth. This is related to this point number 2, chloroplast and chlorophyll, right? This green plaster on your mouth, again, is not the objective is not to explain to you what is chloroplast, what is chlorophyll, but it's helping you to anchor on an information that can help you to further remember and refresh on what is inside drawer number 1. And then boy Ethan and wash Ian, right? Boy Ethan, we can say we have a friend called Nathan, right, who went together with us on the tour last month. But Ethanol is better to use Ethan, not Nathan. And Ian, okay, Ian is our friend, Kevin's brother. So it looks funny, right? You boy Ethan and you watch Ian. So this will help you to remember this story easier, right? So there are actually 3 small stories that you need to remember inside drawer number 1. And how do you remember this? You remember this using this funny, not this one. Where is it? The one that, yeah, let me just go down. This funny picture. Yes, this funny picture, right? A photo with you drinking Pepsi and blowing bubblegum. And then there's a green plaster. And you have eaten, you are boiling eaten, you're eaten on a pot. And there's a fire. I hope this drawing is clear. And you are washing Ethan, washing Ian. So this drawing itself is an anchoring point for your brain to remember what is in drawer number 1, right? Drawer number 1. So by doing the revision by just reading this 1, 2, and 3, you already have quite a good understanding about what is photosynthesis, right? So let's continue on drawer number 2. I hope you have the same feeling, especially for Eric and also Jaden, and also Xuan Xuan, right? I hope you have the same feeling as I do, that now this information is coming back to me again, right? Because after 1 week, for sure, you might not be able to remember as strongly as you did last week when we finished our step 1 until when we completed our step 1 on step 10, right? So now let's do the drill again. Drawer number 2, this is leaf. This is leaf, right? And we will do 1 minute. Let's start now. Ten more seconds. All right. Let's do the second part of drawer number 2, the leaf. Let's start now, 1 minute. 15 seconds. Right, this is drawer number 2. Now, let's do another review, okay? Before we go faster into drawer number 3. Now, drawer number 2 is also having similar story over here. There's every drawer there's a one story, and this story, the first story, is talking about the structural adaptations of the leaf. So you have 5 points that you need to know, that how leaf is able to adapt to the environment, right? Having large surface area, having thin structure, having chlorophyll content, having veins, and also waxy layer. So this is being somehow illustrated over here by this very short story. A large thin green leaf with blood and wax. So you can imagine a leaf that is with a big one, super big leaf, and it's very thin, and it's green color, and it's bloody. And on top there's wax, right? So it's easier for you to remember funny story than text. If I ask you to remember all these texts, I think it's very difficult and it's very tedious, and also you will definitely forget this the content of this content easily. But when you are relate it with a story that is funny or that is illogical, then it's easier for you to remember, right? That's point number one, which is 2.1. Point 2.1 number one, right? So you have gas exchange and you have water and mineral transport, which is here. And that is in this story, right? So I think by now, if anyone today asks you, let's say ask Eric or ask Chuan or ask Jaden, can you explain what do you learn about or what do you know about photosynthesis, right? So by now, you should be able to tell them the information related to this. You can tell him about the photosynthesis, about what's the role of a carbon dioxide, what's the role of energy, what's the light energy, what's the role of water, and the oxygen and glucose, right? And then you can talk about the chloroplasts and chlorophylls and the green color pigment, and also you can do starch test to test the starch that is being produced by the photosynthesis process in the plant, right? And for the leaf, you can also talk about those structural adaptation, gas exchanges, and also water and mineral transport by just looking at the drawing, the funny drawing, and also maybe remembering this story, right? How long does it take? It takes us maybe less than 30 minutes to refresh this now, and that is about 40% of the entire chapter. 30 minutes, 40%, I think it's a good deal. Then you have more time to do other things later, right? So let's continue this drill at a faster pace. Then we will do the test, right? Let's do this 1 minute. Let's start now. Fifteen seconds. All right, that is 3.1. Let's do 3.2 and 3.3. We in 1 minute. Okay, now we are moving to drawer 4. Same drill. Let's start now. Twenty seconds. Let's continue. The second part of drawer 4. Okay, let's start now. So drawer 4 is the using energy. When you drink the energy drink. 10 more seconds. Okay, let's move to drawer 5. Let's close this. Let's do this small part here. I hope everyone can follow. Ten more seconds. I'm gonna ask one question to some of you guys later. So be on your toe. Okay, let's do this. Ding, 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 ding. Let's start now. Okay, now the first question I'm gonna ask, very simple questions. Let's start with Eric. Eric, can you tell me the story that can help you to remember the drawer in sequence?
Um, making salad with leaves and mustard, and drink energy drink until no oxygen.
Good. Xuan, are you ready? Is your mic working? today? Xuan Xuan? Your mic not working. Okay. Then we will go with Jaden. Jaden, can you tell me the 5 drawer in sequence? The name of the 5 drawers, just the name enough.
Drawer number 1 is photosynthesis. Drawer number 2 is
Yes, drawer number 1 is photosynthesis. You remember the drawer, the story that Eric mentioned just now?
Yeah.
Making food with
Making food with in the photo, you drink Pepsi, blow bubble gum, the green cast on your mouth,
Can you speak louder, please?
boil Ethan and wash
No,
Ian.
we haven't reached there yet. We haven't reached there yet. You do not need to tell me about the drawing story now. You just need to tell me the drawer's name.
It's photosynthesis.
Okay, drawer number 1 is called photosynthesis or making food. Okay, for the plant to make food is called it's the process of photosynthesis. Yes, drawer number 1. Number 2.
The leaves.
Yes. Number 3.
Mineral.
Yes. Number 4.
Using energy. And then
Number 5.
Anaerobic respiration.
Yes, no oxygen, right? Not using oxygen. So it could be anaerobic, it could be fermentation. Yes. So that is the right answer. So when you are doing revision, okay, let me see what's the next step. I can't remember already where we are now. Okay. So we have done this reading the quick summary. Before we go into the next step, which is watching video, which is the easiest pass, then we will test you first, right? We have already tested Eric on the story. We tested Jaden on the name of the drawer. Now, with these 2 simple tests, you already have a framework or an idea. What is this chapter about? What is biological processes about? Biological processes is about photosynthesis. It's about the structure of leaf. It's about how the mineral is important, or what is the deficiency it's going to have on the plants. It's about the using the energy. How do you use the energy? Respiration. How do you create the energy, right? And it's about the respiration that is not using oxygen, like anaerobics, and fermentations, right? Next, let's watch the video. Let's watch the video.
Have you ever stopped to think about where the energy
Do you hear the lady was talking just now?
Yes.
Yes, everyone. Okay, I think everyone does. So how do we watch this? Yes, Jovin. How do we watch this? Watch the video and intentionally link it to the drawer. Link it to the drawer. We only have 5 drawers. Very easy drawers. Photosynthesis. What is the next one? Leaf. What's the next one? Minerals. What's the next one? Energy drinks, right? Energy drinks. So what's the next one? No energy. No oxygen. Okay, no oxygen. So that is the anaerobic. Okay, so we only have 5 drawers. Now let's take 7 minutes to watch this video and link it to the drawers.
for, I don't know, your last thought came from, or the last step you took? Well, the answer starts millions of miles away with the sun. Today, we're going to trace that incredible journey of energy, how it's captured by plants, and eventually becomes the fuel for life itself. Let's dive in. It's a fantastic question, right? And the answer comes down to one basic difference between us and a plant. See, plants are what scientists call producers. They literally make their own food from scratch. We, on the other hand, are consumers. We have to get our energy by eating something else. And that one little distinction, it sets up the entire flow of energy for pretty much all life on Earth. So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at how plants pull off this amazing trick of capturing sunlight. Then we'll check out the perfect solar panel, the leaf, and the crucial stuff it needs from the soil. Finally, we're going to see how our own bodies unlock that stored energy, both with every breath we take and in a high-speed emergency mode. All right, let's start at the very beginning. Before any animal can run or
So this is drawer number one. Drawer number one.
any person can think, a plant has to make a meal out of just sunlight and thin air. This process, it's the foundation for nearly every food web on the entire planet. Amazing process is called photosynthesis. It's basically a chemical reaction where a plant takes the simplest ingredients you can imagine, sunlight, water from the ground, and carbon dioxide from the air, and turns them into glucose. That's a type of sugar that acts as its food. Oh, and the incredible waste product of this whole deal, the very oxygen we need to breathe. So where does all this magic happen? Well, if you could zoom way, way down into a plant's cells, you'd find these little green structures called chloroplasts. They're jam-packed with a pigment called chlorophyll. That's what makes plants green, and it's the molecule that actually grabs the sunlight. You can think of them as the plant's own microscopic food factories. And when you boil it all down, the recipe is beautifully simple. The plant takes in carbon dioxide and water, the sun provides the energy to kick off the reaction, and out comes glucose for food and oxygen as a little bonus for the rest of us. It's probably the most important recipe in nature. So how do we actually prove a plant has been making food? Well, plants store their extra glucose as starch, and there's a really classic experiment to find it. You'd boil a leaf to break it down, use some ethanol to get rid of the green chlorophyll that hides the result, and then add a couple drops of iodine. If there's starch in there, you get this dramatic color change from a brownish orange to a deep blue-black. It's proof that the factory has been hard at work. But you know, the chemical reaction is only
So now this is drawer two, the leaf. Okay?
half the story. The success of photosynthesis also comes down to some incredible design. A simple leaf, it's a total marvel of natural engineering, perfectly built for its job. Just think of a leaf as a perfectly designed solar panel. It's got this huge flat shape to maximize the area for catching sunlight. It's incredibly thin, which lets gases move in and out really easily. Its network of veins, that's a super sophisticated plumbing system, bringing in water and shipping out the sugar it makes. And of course, it's green, just packed with the chlorophyll it needs to soak up every last ray of light. And if we zoom in even closer, we find another brilliant little detail. The bottom of the leaf is covered in thousands of tiny pores called stomata. Think of them like microscopic mouths that the plant can open and close. They open up to breathe in the carbon dioxide it needs, and then they breathe out the leftover oxygen. It's this perfectly controlled gateway for gases. Okay, so the factory has its power
Now, obviously, this is drawer number three, the minerals, right?
source, the sun, and its key ingredient from the air, carbon dioxide. But just like any factory, it also needs raw materials that it has to pull up from the ground to build and maintain everything. And these essential materials are minerals. Take nitrates, for example. Plants use them to build proteins, which are the basic building blocks for growth. If a plant can't get enough nitrates, its growth is going to be stunted, and you'll start to see its older leaves turn yellow as it struggles. Another really important one is phosphorus. This is vital for developing a strong root system. So if a plant is short on phosphorus, its roots will be weak, and you might even notice its younger leaves getting a sort of purplish color. And then there's magnesium. Now, this one is absolutely critical. Why? Because a single atom of magnesium sits right at the heart of every single chlorophyll molecule. Without it, the plant literally can't make the green stuff it needs to capture sunlight. The leaves turn yellow, and the entire food factory just grinds to a halt. So the plant has made the food and stored the sun's energy.
Drawer four, respirations, anaerobic. Aerobic, not anaerobic, aerobic.
The next big question is how we and other living things get that energy back out. Well, the main way requires oxygen, and it's happening inside you right now with every single breath you take. This process is called aerobic respiration, and aerobic just means with oxygen. It's the chemical reaction that unlocks the energy stored in that glucose from food, turning it into power for everything from your muscles moving to the neurons firing in your brain. This is the engine that runs most complex life on Earth.
And just like photosynthesis has its own factory, the chloroplast, respiration has one too. This reaction happens inside another tiny part of our cells called the mitochondria. You've probably heard it called the powerhouse of the cell, and that's exactly what it is. This is where the energy that is powering you right now is being generated. Now, take a really close look at this equation. Does it look familiar? It totally should. It's the exact reverse of photosynthesis. We take in glucose and oxygen, and our cells release carbon dioxide, water, and most importantly, a whole lot of usable energy. It's a perfect circular part.
But what happens when you need a
Last drawer.
sudden burst of power faster than your lungs can possibly supply oxygen? Well, for moments like that, your body has an emergency backup plan. Imagine you're sprinting as fast as you can. Your muscles are screaming for energy right now, but there's no way you can breathe fast enough to give them all the oxygen they need. To bridge that gap, your cells switch to a different process, anaerobic respiration, which just means respiration without oxygen. This reaction is way simpler. It's a quick and dirty solution. The body just partially breaks down glucose into something called lactic acid, and that releases a small but very immediate burst of energy. And hey, if you've ever felt that burning sensation in your muscles during a really hard workout, that's the lactic acid building up. So let's just put them side by side. Aerobic respiration needs oxygen, gives off carbon dioxide and water, and provides a massive, sustainable energy payoff. Anaerobic respiration, on the other hand, needs no oxygen, produces that pesky lactic acid, and only gives you a tiny temporary boost. It's a great short-term fix, but it's not a long-term strategy for survival. And so we end up right back where we started, looking at this perfectly balanced cycle. Plants use the carbon dioxide we breathe out and give us the oxygen we need to live. They create the energy-rich food, and we consume it, completing the loop. It's a beautiful, essential partnership that's powered life for millions of years, which leaves us with one last really important question. What happens if we break it?
Okay. Now, let's do this very quick exercise. Let's read this again. Let's do 1 minute and read this again. Tell me if you understood it better than 1 hour ago. Right. I think even for the first timer like Elise, like Jovin, or Jingsam, by reading this again now, I believe, you feel that now makes more sense. Makes more sense compared to 1 hour ago when you first read this. Do you have the same feeling? Just to make sure, or you have no idea? All right. So I got a thumbs up from Jovin. For the first timer, like Elise and Jingsam. Yep. And Elise is a very smart student. I'm sure also she will have the same feeling. Right? So, and for Eric, for Jaden, and for Xuan Xuan, who is together with Jingsam, I'm sure by now, almost what you have learned last week came back to you, right? Came back to you. And we only take 1 hour. What if I tell you that all these things can be done in less than 10 minutes. Okay, what are the steps that is needed over here to reach that, to achieve that? Right. So there are 4 steps that you need to do. Let me just write down here. This is after the revisions. This is self-revision. First step is the story. Second step is the drawer names in sequence. Third step is drawer story. Last step is explain to your brother or sister or best friend. Right. Step 1 is exactly what Eric did just now. How long does it take? Telling me the story. Telling me this story. 5 seconds? Okay. 5 seconds. Step 2 is exactly what Eric did just now. Telling me the name of the drawer in sequence. How long does it take? Maybe another 10 seconds. Drawing the story. Draw out and explain. Okay, this means you have to draw and explain. Explain to yourself. You don't need to explain to anyone, right? Because we're talking about self-revision. Draw that story. Draw that drawings. The very ugly drawings. Where is it? This one. Let me show you again if you haven't drawn it. Right? How long does it take to draw this picture? Maybe if you've done it enough time, many times, 10 times or 15 times, maybe in less than 1 minute. But let's not be too optimistic. Let's say 3 minutes. 3 minutes to draw, and maybe 1 minute each to explain to yourself. So it's another 5 minutes. So that is 8 minutes. Right. Explain the drawer. Story is explaining this one. This one in the photo, large, this one, and you eat candy in the prison cell, and this thing. This is also very easy, right? You just need to remember this. So let's take 8 minutes. I think 8 minutes is too long, but it's fine. Now, with this drawer, explain it to your brother. For Elise, explain it to Jeffrey. For Xuan Xuan, explain it to Jing Sam. For Jing Sam, explain it to Xuan Xuan. Right? For Joanne, explain it to Karen. For Eric, explain it to Brian. For Jaden, explain it to, maybe Jeremiah is too young. Just explain it to your mommy. Right? And how long does it take to explain what is photosynthesis? What is leaf? What have you learned in minerals? What you have learned in this aerobic with the glucose transport, oxygen transport, and also carbon dioxide removal, and also this fermentations, anaerobics information. How long does it take? Let's say 3 minutes per drawer. So that is 15 minutes. So in total, how many minutes? 25 minutes. These two add together, 8 plus 15 is 23. This is in seconds. So less than 23 minutes, less than 24 minutes, right? And even this 8 minutes is a conservative estimations, right? So if you do it for 20 times or even more than that, I'm sure all this timer that we set is much lower, right? If you can set it to reduce it to 10 minutes, what does it mean? It means you only need 10 minutes to complete an entire chapter, to revise the entire chapter and complete the entire chapter. How many chapters do you have in your science subjects? For science, maybe less than 10 chapter. let's say 6 chapters. 6 chapters is 60 minutes. So in 1 hour, you completed the entire, let's say, year 9 science revision, right? And that helps you to build your confidence and also to continue to learn new knowledge in the science that you haven't learned it yet in this brain drawer, right? That's why brain drawer is helping you to learn progressively. It's not a one step and you become genius after 2 hours. You learn progressively. We lay down a very strong foundations, and you remember the key information and key understanding and key knowledge. Then from there you build, right? So let's do this exercise quickly, right? You can do it by yourself, but we will I will guide you, right? So for this drawer, for this step 1 and step 2, we have already done it with Eric and also Jaden just now. For drawing the stories, drawing this out, I hope you can take your pen and paper and draw it by yourself. I don't think it will take you too much time to do it. It's very simple. And then you can try to explain it to yourself. Explain it. What do you need to explain? Just this one. In the photo, you drink Pepsi and you blow bubble gum, and then you use a green plaster and you plaster it on your mouth, and you boil Nathan and watch Ian. All right, and that's it. Same goes to drawer number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. And it's just this one simple, silly story, right? So that is step 3. That is step 3. And step 4 is, obviously, if you explain this story to Jeffrey, he has no idea what you're talking about, right? But if you explain what is photosynthesis, what is reactants in the photosynthesis, what is the products in photosynthesis, and what is chloroplast, and what is the relationship between chloroplast and chlorophyll, and how this chlorophyll is helping in photosynthesis, and then how do you do the test? Then it makes sense for anyone who wants to learn what is photosynthesis. Same goes to leaf, second drawer. Same goes to the following drawers: minerals, respirations, anaerobic, aerobic, fermentations, right? So these self-revisions within 10, maximum 20 minutes, you can do it by yourself. Once you have a better understanding on how to follow these steps, right? And yes, yep. So next, let's do a quick test. Let's do a quick test. This time we will ask for a harder questions. This was just now. Let's upload the book. Where is this? Wait, let's upload the book. I hope everyone is following, right? I hope everyone is following what I'm trying to teach over here. Okay, while I'm checking on the book, what is this? Biological processes. Let me just search for it. There are too many books in my document right now. Biological processes. It's here. Okay. So this is the book. Let me show you what have I uploaded. Since we have a bit of time. Right. So this is what we have learned just now. This is the book, the textbook. So it's about photosynthesis, leaf, minerals, aerobic respiration, and anaerobic respirations. So you see the structure and the format is similar to what you learned just now. There's photosynthesis. Then you're talking about the experiment. Then let's talk about the leaf, the structure of leaf, and you know it by heart now, I think. Then you have stomata. Then you have this transportation of the mineral and waters, involving the evaporation process, involving the absorption process. Then you have the minerals. What are the three important minerals? Nitrate, phosphate, magnesium. Then why it is some of the leaf is looks like it is not healthy because it's a lack of certain important minerals. And yellow color represent what, and purple color represent what. And there's aerobic respirations, is the transfer of energy, right? And generation of energy. Then you have mitochondria, right? Then you have anaerobic. Anaerobic is without oxygen. That's it's going to create lactic acid. Then you have fermentations, right? And that's it. See? So I uploaded this book into ChatGPT and ask me 10 hard MCQ to test my understanding in this chapter, right? One by one. Okay. So how are we going to do this? With the drawing that you have in front of you, I hope you draw. And don't worry if you did not. We have it next to you here. Okay, we have we have this here. Right. I hope you have drawn the drawing because that is going to help you to remember. And that is also part of the revision. Right. So now you need to tell me which drawer is this question related to? And then you need to tell me the answer. So very simple. Which drawer? What is the answer? Right. Can we start with Xuan Xuan? You can, if your mic is not working, you can type on the chat. Drawer, answer. And everyone else, try to answer by yourself first, then see whether your answer and Xuan Xuan answer is the same. Drawer, answer. Okay, we have drawer number 2. Answer B. Anyone object? I give you 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this drawer number 2? I think it's drawer number 1. See? The starch test. The test is here. Okay, so it's drawer number 1. And the answer is B. No one object? Okay, I see. Oh yeah, yes. Right. Who wants to try? Everyone who got a chance. So if you know the answer, you better try now before I ask you something is more difficult. Elise, yes. Which drawer, which answer?
The number 2, right?
Drawer number 2. Yes.
No, the question
no?
number 2.
Question number 2, yes.
I forgot the drawer.
You forgot the drawer. Look at the drawing.
Oh,
Give a try.
3.
Yes, 3. Purple. You see purple here? Right.
Yeah.
What is the answer?
Phosphate?
Phosphate. Anyone do not agree? 1. Oh. Jing Sam is writing something. Let's wait for Jing Sam. Are you writing something, Jing Sam? Should I wait? Same opinion. Okay, good. Excellent. Okay. By the way, this is a harder question. Okay. Now, question number 3. Who wants to try? We already have Chuan Chuan and Elise. Jing Sam, you are not part of Chuan Chuan, okay? So I will come to you. Anyone want to try? Anyone knows? Who is this? Jovin, let's try. Drawer, answer.
Drawer number 4.
Okay.
C.
Okay. Anyone object? Anyone didn't agree? I think this is drawer number 5. Anaerobic. Right. Anaerobic is not using oxygen. So number 5 is no oxygen energy. C, whether it's the right answer? No one object, then we'll keep it that way. All right. So far, so good. Okay. Why is it important for me to keep asking about which drawer? Because I want you to remember there are 5 drawers and you need to remember those drawers because this is the anchoring point of your brain. Your brain needs an anchoring point to be able to focus. Right. Now, question 4. Tell me, drawer, answer. Whoever who answered, he can or she can answer again if you want. It's open for everyone. But whoever who did not answer yet and no one wants to answer, then I'll pick that student. So Eric not yet, Jaden not yet, Jing Sam. Okay, Jing Sam try. Jovin is typing. Okay, Jovin, you can leave, please. If you have another class. Thank you very much for joining us. Bye-bye. Answer by Shren. Okay, just now was Jin Sam, then now it's Shren. Okay. So drawer number 1, B. Do you agree? Hey, where is it? Oh, I typed wrongly. Yes, I think it's drawer number 1 because it's about starch test. And it's B. Okay, let's try. Actually, I did not read the question. I just leave it to you to answer. Like I say, I'm not your tuition teacher. I'm teaching you the method. Okay, so far so good. Number 5, Eric and Jaden. Anyone from you?
Me. I'll do it.
Okay.
So this is drawer 5. And aerobic respiration does not produce waste products.
Okay, anyone object? Drawer 5 and answer B. Elise, do you agree?
I don't know.
You don't know. Jaden, do you agree? Shren, do you agree? Answer is C. Which drawer? I think it's more to drawer 4 because it's talking about aerobic, right? Yes. So let's try C. I think it's C also. I think it's okay. Why is it not B? Because everything there's a waste product. And aerobic waste product is carbon dioxide. And water is the opposite of photosynthesis. Let's try C. All right. Okay, question number 6. Eric, you still haven't get one checklist check. So you still have to try again. Or Jaden.
Okay. Can I do this one?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this one would be the diffusion. Would that one be number 4 with Alvin the Globin? This would be draw number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Diffusion B.
Oh, diffusion B.
Yeah.
Anyone object? Elise, what do you think? Let me put you on the spot. You think so? Drawer 4 and B? Oh, you're not sure?
Yeah.
You think so? Okay. Let's try. Yes. All right. It could be drawer number 4 or drawer number, the one that is having this this alveoli. Alveoli is a, where's the alveoli one? I think it's here, right? Yeah, this one. Yes, drawer number 4, you're right. Even I got confused. Okay, number 7. Elise want to try? Okay, let's try.
Is it drawer 2?
Yes.
And the top surface receives the most sunlight, B.
Okay. Elise, you learn very fast. You did not attend the first session. Okay, number 8. Jaden, you haven't tried. Just try.
Okay.
A plant is kept in a sealed transparent container in sunlight. After several days, the oxygen level inside increases. But eventually, photosynthesis slows down. What is the most likely reason?
Because C.
C, which drawer? Anyone did not agree? Eric, you agree or you don't agree?
I disagree. I think it's B.
You think it's B? And which drawer?
This one would be drawer 2, I think. This would be drawer 2.
Drawer 2, photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is
Oh
drawer.
no, this one would be drawer 1.
Drawer 1. Okay. Jaden, you are saying something.
I think it's B as well.
You think it's B as well after second thoughts? Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's B. If B, the answer of B is not there, then maybe C could be the one. But since B is clearer to respond to these reasoning questions, I think it's B also. Let's try. I'm also learning like you do, right? I'm not, like I said, I'm not the teacher. I don't do this every day. Now, question number 9. Let's get it from somebody else. Maybe Jing Sam, Xuan Xuan. You have 2 brains there. C, 4. Is it 4? Look at the diagram. Yeah, sorry, drawing. I think it's drawer number 5. No oxygen, anaerobic. Okay, anaerobic and fermentation. You see, this drawing, no oxygen. This Anna, who is dancing aerobic, drinking acid in vacuum, and then she is eating bread and wine, fermentation. So it's drawer number 5. And I think it's, yeah, Jingsam is typing something. Let's wait for her. Okay, no more typing. So let's try C. Right? Okay, last one. Oh, answer by Shen. Okay. Okay, good. Last one, the highest difficulty. Okay, let's see how difficult is this. A plant. Anyone can answer, please. Tell me the drawer, tell me the answer. A plant in the water logs. Anyone? Give a try. Which drawer? I think which drawer is easy, this one.
Can I do it?
Yes,
Can I
please.
do it?
Of course, please.
Okay.
Hmm?
This should be um this would be drawer 5.
Yes.
This would increase the reduce growth due to lower energy release.
Okay, I saw Stren is also having the same answer. Drawer 5 and C. Anyone did not agree? Elise, do you agree? Jaden, do you agree?
Yeah.
What about Jaden? Still thinking? Agree. Let's try. Oh yes, that is the answer. Let's see. 10 out of 10. I think some of you get 10 out of 10, some of you got 9 out of 10. But in any case, 9 or 10 is excellent. Is super excellent. Right, especially for the student who did not join the first meeting or the first class, like Elise, like Jingsam, and Jovin. Jovin left. I think you did very well. And I hope you learned something. Like I say, I'm not your tuition teacher. I'm not the normal tuition teacher. I'm helping you to follow the steps, which I call it brain drawer, to learn faster and more efficiently, right? So, yep. Let's hope. I'll try to organize next week a class that is another chapter. Okay. So thank you very much. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.